الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد النبي الكريم وعلى آله وأصحابه الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم علمنا ما جهلنا وذكرنا ما نسينا وفقهنا في ديننا واجعلنا من عبادك الصالحين آمين. Today, as it's the last Saturday in the month of Ramadan, I'm going to open the floor for you. There's no certain topic. As our program, the Clear Practice, in whatever area that you would like to question about, so please feel free. Brother Akram can pass, the mic to each one of you. Yes.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. My question is with regards to halal investment. Particularly, I have two parts to that: investing in stocks, and then another one was cryptocurrency.
First of all, Muslims, they have to gain the strength, and really put their effort for investment, and that's actually it's important. Why I'm saying this? Because some people, because of the restrictions and the problems, they said, no, we don't want, to do that investment, have issues. Like all areas has issues, but you try, to gain the strength of the ummah, because when like Muslims, they have a good asset and they have good income, they will support themselves and families and the community, which is really important. And that's even the advice of the Prophet ﷺ. And he said, اتجروا في مال اليتيم كي لا تأكله الزكاة. Invest in the wealth of the orphan, because that you don't want to be eaten by the zakah, which mean you don't want to be diminished by zakah, because if given zakah every year, the money, not spiritually but physically, will be reduced until that orphan, when he grow up, he will find nothing in there. So it's always good to have the halal investment. The options are there, alhamdulillah. Now it's increasing, the options of halal investment. Even now, there are here in our local community, there are some people that are having halal investment in the regular banking the regular institutions, like of banks, like the HRBC, for example, or other banks. So we have a brother, Khalid Sultan, for example. He's an expert of the investment, and he's doing it in a halal way, and in the regular banks. So, alhamdulillah, the options are increasing. It might be there are still some restrictions, but are increasing. The person that has the money sometimes has the upper hand to decide in which company that money will be invested. Just make sure there's central list that you avoid as a maximum of your ability. If it's a 95%, it's under control, alhamdulillah, you don't have to worry about the rest. Because sometimes there are some details it's out of your control. But as long as that's 95%, it's a halal way to invest in that company, so that will be fine for you, subhanahu wa ta'ala. As I said, some companies that are offering that investment now, for example, the housing, Islamic housing, that's one of the good investment. Manzil, for example, they are offering that investment, and they are offering even investment in your retirement plan and RSP. They are doing halal investment for that as well. So you can actually move with them, and they will take care of all of those investments. So they are doing investment in housing. In the same time, they are managing your account, for those retirement plans and all other plans. So it's coming to be more accessible. I know it's limited nowadays, but it's coming, inshallah, to be more accessible, بإذن subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Are there certain criteria if you were to invest in the stock market? How do you determine if a stock is halal to invest in or haram? I know it's complicated, but is there like a resource that you would point to, like this scholarly body, if they give a fatwa that this stock is okay, it's probably okay, or something like
I
this?
hope that will be a clear answer to that, and there is like available list of the options. They are working in that. The Canadian Council of Imams, they are working on that with the AMJA, that's one of the largest Islamic assembly for fatwa in North America. They are trying to make a certain list which companies that they approve and they pass the criteria where you can invest on it or which one not. I'm not aware of that. The list now is available completely, but you can check with AMJA website. They might have combined a list for the companies in a state, and they are working with the Canadian Council of Imams to have a list, for those companies in Canada as well. However, there are some type of businesses that's purely halal, like in some others, it clears haram. Where you talk about the investing in electronic, for example, like generally speaking, the car companies, electronic companies, those ones, the investment, generally speaking, it's out of question. So it's no issue with that. But some other companies, they have different arms here and there. That's where you be careful about it. Yeah.
Sorry, one last follow-up question to this. What's the ruling on cryptocurrency?
When this came, open debate between scholars, and nowadays most of them are like going toward the permissibility of investing on that. They in the beginning they raised some questions and concern, but then they said it's like in any other investment. إذا اختلفت الأجناس فبيعوا كيفما شئتم. It's like a product, yes, and you buy and sell. They are okay within a parameter where they put 3 or 4 conditions. You can go and study that in details. But generally speaking, it is one of the areas it's permissible to invest in it as long as you maintain those certain conditions they put forward.
Assalamu alaikum. My question is regarding understanding the Arabic. So, being the non-Arabic speaker, so I would like to understand, is there a way or courses that are offered or any programs that is happening that will help me understand the Quran better as it recites, not through
First,
translation?
thank you for your question and your concern that you love to learn Arabic because you want to be more close to Quran, more close to the word of Allah and the word of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's a sign of love. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase that love in your heart. But I don't want you to be frustrated and even feel that those speaks Arabic, they are maybe more fortunate than you in that regard. Most of the Arabic scholars that teaching Arabic grammars, the traditional scholars, not even talking about nowadays scholars, 90% of them are non-Arabic descendants. The famous one, for example, Sibawayh, Khalawayh, Naftaway. You know, all of them. Maybe the one famous one is in Arabic. He's from Arab. His name is Khalil ibn Ahmad al-Farahidi. Beside that, most of those are famous. The top of the Arabic grammar scholars are non-Arabic. So that might motivate you, like, you know, to learn. So, you know what? Oh, why, you know, I'm making that as a barrier? No, it should not be. 90% of the Quranic scholars, those we learn the riwayat from them, are non-Arab. And I'm not exaggerating. Like, you know, you heard about Hafiz, Qalun, Warish, and all of them non-Arab. Mawali. Abu Amrihim wal Yahsubiyu ibn Amirin sarihun wa baqihim ahata bihi al-wala. So out of 14, there are only 2. And the rest, you know, they are not, you know, Arab. Do you know that there are more tafsir, commentaries on the Quran in Arabic than any other language? And what that does mean, even the Arab people, they need explanation. So it doesn't mean they open the Quran and they read and they understand everything. No. So there are more tafsir that's in Arabic. Actually, even those available in English, most of them were translated from Arabic. So the Arab people need tafsir, need somebody to explain the Quran to them. Yes, they might understand the general concept, but not necessarily word by word. In many words, they're not using their daily activities. So they still need to go to the dictionary, to the tafsir, to understand, to ask many shuyukh. So it's here really important that not to feel that, you know what, I'm less fortunate, I'm not really that good. No. There are many people really doing excellent way, and they are not Arab people in terms of understanding and explaining the Quran. So that first place. Second, you have to make the effort, inshallah, to learn. And that's in some people, they think Arabic as a language is difficult. That's what they think. But actually it's not. Even let's compare it with English. Arabic, it's phonetic language. English is not. Is that right? I'm asking him, Dr. Hisham, mashallah. That's his field. I should not talk about that here. He has a applied language in PhD in English, mashallah. So Arabic is phonetic language, which is really important to understand this. We have 4 skills, yes? Reading, speaking, writing, and listening. Is that right? Okay. When it comes to Arabic, whatever you pronounce, you write. In English, not the same. In English, you could find like one sound, but you can write it different ways. And sometimes it's different ways of writing as in one sound. You know, and sometimes some same writing but different sounds. It's confusing. You know, that's not in Arabic. In Arabic, once you learn the tone of the letter, the sound of the letter, with some skills you can write any word in Arabic. So you can read and write perfectly. And if I had a smart student, and he will give me just 12 hours focus and concentrating, and I have done that in the past, maximum 12 hours. He will be able to read and write any Arabic words, just in 12 hours. Can you do that in English? Now, if some people, they study from JK English till high school or even university, they're still mixing up for how they spell some words. You ask them how you spell it, say, oh, just a second, let me write it, let me ask, and they make mistakes. Yes? In Arabic, just 10, 12 hours, you could read and write any words. So it's very easy in that sense. Okay, that's one thing. Second, 90% of the Arabic words are derived words, comes from a root. Once you understand the roots, you will understand the meaning of the word with some other information about the structure of the word. That's it. Very simple. The word kataba. You know what's kataba? Oh yeah, kataba. So kataba, yaktubu, kitab, a book. Maktaba, a library. Maktab, okay. Katib, writer. Kutab, yes. Katiba. Yes. So do you notice that different words, but it comes all from one root. And when you understand the roots, you understand all those words. In English, let's say some same words. Writing, library, a book, author, an office. I'm just, you see, there's no desk. There's no word has any related to other ones, and all the same, subject. You have to memorize all of them and understand all of them. In Arabic, just you understand one root, and that's it. Now, asking the question, how many words I need to understand in Arabic in order to understand 70% of the words of the Quran? Do you know what? You need to know only 300 roots. And you will be able to understand 70% of the Quranic words. So, if every day you study 3 roots, in 100 days you will know 70% of the words of the Quran. And if you are Urdu speaking, you will know that in 50 days, because many of those words being used in Urdu. So just make the effort, and that's it. But now how I could improve my language? I want to speak in Arabic. Some people said, you know what, I want to speak in Arabic. I want to know how to be a good writer. If you want to learn speaking, you start with learning speaking, you had the wrong start. If you want to learn writing and start with learn writing, you will have a wrong start. If you want to be good speaker, you have to be good listener. If you want to be good writer, you have to be good reader. So you have to start with reading and listening. When you're able to read, you improve your skills of writing. You know this phrase, this structure, this. So you know how to read it multiple times. You memorize it, then you can even write it. You can say it. So read a lot, and listen. When you listen, you start speak. How the babies start learning language? Listening, and he will repeat it 5 times, 6 times, until he will pronounce it correctly, yes? In the beginning, he will make it in a funny way, yes? And some parents, unfortunately, they will copy the kids in their funny way. The kids, maybe he will say any word, not that complete, not that correct, and the parent, they will do it in that way. That's wrong. When you want to teach your kids, you should pronounce it in the correct way. Do not worry about how they pronounce it. and they will pick it from you in the right way. So listening, you be good listener, you're going to be good speaker, be good reading, you're going to, a reader, you're going to be good writer. That's how. And easy. Arabic grammar, that's a difficult part. Arabic grammar, that's difficult part. Yes. That's yes. You say, English grammar, easy. Yes. Arabic grammar, it's, difficult. Yes. You know why? Why you compare that? Because English grammar doesn't make sense. Yes, to be honest, doesn't make sense. Green book. I saw the book before I describe it. Why describe it before I mention the book? If you think of it, no, it should be the adjective comes after, not before. I saw old, tall, gray hair man. You mentioned 5, 6 adjective, and then you mentioned who you described, the subject. That's not logic. So you. So what do you mean you? Me or you, all of you? You, boy or a girl, one or two or a plural. There's no logic. Arabic, no, anta, specific. You cannot mess around. Anta, anti, antuma, antum, antunna. It's more specific. That's why, yes, Arabic's not that easy, the grammar, but it's because it's more logic, more specific, beautiful. You learn actually discipline in Arabic. Here now we wonder there's no distinguish between man and woman. Even in their language, there is no distinguish between man and woman. Yes. They say you, man and woman, same one. You address the man and the woman the same way. In Arabic, no, not the same way. They said man in English, yes. How do you say woman? Man, how do you say woman? In Arabic, Woo, woman. They never even give it its own root. Woo, like as a warning. Woo, like woo, women. Okay. How to say male? Male. How you say it for other gender? Female. Why this? Arabic give respect. رجل, امرأة. Separate words, separate identity. Wallahi, I'm telling you, the language affecting the behavior of the person. Do you know that in Japanese there is no I? There's no I in English. There's no pronoun that to speak about yourself. And that's affecting their mentality. The language make them not even consider themselves as a person. And that's why even one of the reasons, logically, even having to have high rate of suicide. They give more to the society. Okay, you give more, but even you have to feel your presence, something you represent yourself. Anyway, that's another, discussion. But Arabic is beautiful. And I'm telling you, it's when you understand Arabic, you understand Quran, you understand the old poetries, because it's all one language, one grammar. English, no. What you are speaking now, they call it modern English. And Shakespeare is the father of the modern English. The father of modern English. And you see, if Shakespeare comes nowadays, he will say, please, pardon, could you repeat it? We're going to say, he couldn't understand what you're talking about. Yes? Yeah. He will have issue with that. Do you know that if I give you just a piece or a passage from the Old English, you will never understand it? Even there's no dictionary for it? Not even go into the dictionary. Yeah, I mean, we have to really appreciate that. Arabic is a very rich language, and I will end with this. Arabic is not a language. Arabic it's a religion. It's a deen. Learning Arabic is a ibadah, it's an act of worship. If you have it, the good intention to communicate with the hadith and to understand the Quran. It's a ibadah. Can you pray without Arabic? Yes, it's a ibadah. It's an act of worship. Yes. So Arabic is not just, an option. Something you should be eager to learn. And one of the things that I witness from new Muslims, when they come into Islam, either the first or the second question, can I learn Arabic? So all of us, we should say, how can I learn Arabic? We need to learn. And we need to master it. Not just learn, to love it. Wallahi, it's a beautiful thing. When you attach to the language of the Quran, it's amazing things. So thank you for your question, but you have to make the means to learn. I can, but with one condition. I cannot teach without my assistant, Mas'ouda. Yeah, I cannot teach. Yeah, Mas'ouda. Huh? Yeah. He not this. It's okay with the stick? Okay, are you sure? Okay. No, inshallah, something we'll think of it. Yes, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Yeah, sure. Sure, let's make the effort, inshallah. Yes. Ameen.
I have a question. What is the difference between fiqh and aqidah? Like, what is fiqh and aqidah? And what's the difference? Fiqh and aqidah.
Fiqh and
Aqidah.
And aqidah. So, the word fiqh means understanding. قالوا ما نفقه كثيرا مما تقول. People of Shu'aib, after he was talking to them and inviting them to path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they said, we cannot understand what you are talking about. They use the word nafqah, fiqh. So fiqh means understanding. That's generally speaking. Now, as a term, there are two definitions. Imam Abu Hanifa said, الفقه معرفة النفس ما لها وما عليها. That the individual knows what's for him and what's required from him. So knows the rights and the duties. Knows the things that's important for you, for your living, for your deen, and all things that relate to you. معرفة النفس ما لها وما عليها. And this broad definition that include even the aqidah. So the aqidah is included in this definition. So according to Imam Abu Hanifa, aqidah and fiqh is all under one category. And that's why there's one of the books, many that said that's written by Imam Abu Hanifa or related to Imam Abu Hanifa, nusi by Imam Abu Hanifa. The title of the book, Al-Fiqh Al-Akbar. Al-Fiqh Al-Akbar. You know what's in that book? Aqidah. So Al-Fiqh Al-Akbar, it's Aqidah. And there is another fiqh of practicing the salah and zakah and dealings, that's Al-Fiqh Al-Asghar. So according to Abu Hanifa definition, that fiqh could be the major fiqh, which is Aqidah, and the other one, which related to all other subjects. However, other imams define the fiqh differently, where the fiqh contain the masail, the rules, the regulation that related to the practice. It's not related to everything. And that's two parts. Ibadat, muamalat. Act of worship and act of dealings, with others. So what you should know how to fulfill the right of Allah and how to fulfill the right of others. So this is, basically goes, to the fiqh. And nowadays, when you say the word fiqh, it goes to this definition, not the definition of Imam Hanifa, unless you said that according to Imam Hanifa. So even the fuqaha from Ahnaf, when they title like saying, okay, we have a course about fiqh, you will understand that's about salah, zakah, not about the aqidah. So they are not using this term now about the aqidah, where originally that's even aqidah can be included. Okay? Yes. Yes, brother. Take the mic. It's yours? Okay, go ahead. He has the mic and then we'll come back to you.
What's your opinion on buying a house in Canada? Do you think it's better that we rent to avoid the interest?
Okay. So, there's no any justification of dealing with haram, with interest, unless in a case of necessity. And when I say a case of necessity, that means when there is no other alternative. That when that's the only solution, and that out of your control, then it might. Because that's ضرورة. وللضرورة أحكام. والضرورة تقدر بقدرها. So the main rules, nothing can justify that dealing with haram. Especially the riba, usury, or the other term, interest. But by the way, not every term that's in any contract they said interest, that's mean riba. Not every that. Sometimes when they say interest, they meant bounty, where there are some rules that you have not fulfilled, so there's a bounty, and that not necessarily that bounty, that's a riba. Sometimes with interest, they mean profit. Their marginal profit. It's not mean that as we understand that's all riba. So it depends. But usually it's clear. Yes. So nothing can justify that. Some people, they said, oh, we living in the West, then it's darura. That's not right, generally speaking. We used to be living in Libya, for example, and rent was illegal in Libya in one point. Yeah, you wonder, yes? Even rent was illegal. Because in the green book of Gaddafi, he said, Al-Baytu li sakinihi, the house for the ones living in it. So if you rent it out for somebody, the next day he can go and write the house under his name. Yes. So overnight, Gaddafi took from people their houses. They left only for them the house they live in it, and the other one distributed for others. Yes. أنا البيت لساكنه الأرض ليست ملكا لأحد شركاء لا أجراء. If people have a factory, they said no, you are just a partner with all other workers. So the worker became partners, all of them in that factory. Yeah, that's how he came with the crazy ideas. So you cannot even rent out, or you get the rent. You cannot get the rent. It's not that easy to buy a house. To buy a house, you need to make saving for 40 years of work without spending a penny to buy a house. So either you inherit, and that few people, they could inherit, so they get place to get married or whatever in that place, or they get married in a room with their family. And the scholars at that time, they said not allow for you to take interest. Even that, they said no. My sheikh said, if it's allowed for you to eat the rotten animal, the dead animal, go and eat it and do not eat riba. Yes. And they said, خير أضرك خير من شر أسرك. خير أضرك خير من شر أسرك. So maybe something good, you feel like, struggle taking it. It's better for you that an evil and you feel happy about it. Because if you are taking interest, riba, you are not actually solving your situation. You're making it worse. You're not solving it. You're making it worse. Not even physically, but even spiritually. Because you're declaring war, and Allah is declaring war against you. So you have to be careful. In the case of darura, there's no other way, that's fine. So that's the first part. Second, is any halal options? Alhamdulillah. Nowadays there's halal options. Do you know if the scholars in the past, they were really tough and stick with that? They said, no, you cannot go to the regular banks. Today we'll have many options. Like about the halal food and the biha. They said, no, you cannot go there. Now, alhamdulillah, we have many options, yes? So inshallah, time is coming. You're going to see many halal options in Bidnillah subhanahu wa ta'ala for housing, Bidnillah. Nowadays, the expectation that many houses, they're going to be foreclosure. We're going to be returned to the bank, and the bank will give it to the another, a third party or another body that they will sell it for them. That's a good option, because those houses now it's owned by the bank. Not even legally, it's not under the name of the bank, but he's the owner because it goes back to the bank. So in those cases, you could buy it with the fixed mortgage, if they give you the fixed mortgage. And the fixed mortgage that, limited for the number of years. They might extend it to 7 years or 10 years if you can pay back. So there are some options, even from the regular bank, it might come. And many companies, they are offering halal housing. It's big topic, but inshallah there are more options, for halal, alhamdulillah, is coming. There are two things that you make sure that is there for the company. They say, we are offering halal housing. First, if you ask if they have a Shari'i committee from a qualified scholar with them, that you make you feel comfortable. The second, that you have nothing to do with the signing with the bank. If they made the paperwork and then they ask you to go and sign with the bank, yeah, I could go directly with them. So if those two conditions, that's the main things in there, that gives you more peace that dealing, it might be halal. Okay. Last question. We have one more? Okay.
Assalamu alaikum. I have a question of the zakat. A couple of days ago, me and my brother are talking about the zakat. He worked like 1 year. He can't have money.
Say it again. The echo is now clear. Make it, yeah.
Me and my brothers are talking about zakat yesterday, and I asked him how you can manage the zakat because we don't have saving of zakat right.
Okay. So not every person is must for him or her to pay zakat. If the condition never fulfilled, there's no obligation. You get the point? Sometimes some people, they have this year, they have to pay zakat, not next year. Some people, they have not even paid zakat for the rest of their life. So you don't have to worry, about that. Just look at the condition. If it's there, then you calculate your zakah. Otherwise, you don't have to worry about it. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, brother.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, my question is, I have two questions. The first one is, the two questions are related to Salah, praying in congregation. The first one is, I've noticed here in Canada that people find it difficult to join their legs together during Salah. To join their legs together in Salah.
Okay.
At the point, if you try to take your leg closer to the other person, it takes it away. So this gives me a lot of headache. And seriously, I thought at the point I thought it was asobia, like racism or something. But I prayed with someone and he did that to me. And after Salah, he offered me a test himself. I was like, wow, what's happening? So
okay,
that's one. The second question. Okay.
So actually, you raised a good point about that the way how we stand in a prayer, that eliminate any act of racism and discrimination. And even when non-Muslims, they come, they were surprised about that when I tell them that's the same practice 1400 years ago, when all standing shoulder by shoulder, foot by foot, white beside the black, the jobless beside the professional, the ruler beside the subject, the poor beside the rich, and all are equal in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All are equal before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is a unique aspect. So always we should think good of people about that. It's not necessarily a sign of racism or discrimination that comes from this way. So not only you might complain, many others might complain about this. But why is that? First, ignorance. Not necessarily anybody comes masjid knows exactly the right to practice. So some people are ignorant. Second, in some madhahib, they didn't emphasize about it. Like, Hanafi, they didn't emphasize much about that. Just care about the shoulder as long as it's maintained. They didn't emphasize about the foot. So, because of the way how he was taught, so he was not really insisting. That's the second. Third, some people have bad experience. Yes. With some people, they want to practice sunnah, but they go off limit, where they are pushing and insisting. And you know what? Even myself, sometimes if I prayed by some people, there are some people I'm not that comfortable praying beside them because they're pushing so much. They step on your toes. They are like pushing in your way. Like they are not practicing in the right way. So the way some people they might practice sunnah, they might turn other people away. You get the point? So because could be different reasons. Could be ignorance. Could be, as I said, the way how they're being taught. So you need some adjustment. Some people teach them the right practice. Or they have bad experience with others. They're not practicing the sunnah. So we need to practice sunnah, but we don't want to make it hard for people. So now, let's say you want to close the gap. If the person stayed away, do not follow the person. He went and you go follow the person. He went away. Maybe he has allergy. Maybe he has his own issue. You get the point? So we need to understand that where's our space and the space of others as well. And when you apply the sunnah, not to push people away. You get it? Yes. I remember it's happened one time. It's almost a fight happened, and an old person, he never get to use to practice this, so he turned to the young person that he was pushing. He said, "What this a new religion you brought?" Because the way how he was interacting with him, that the old man he thought that's a new religion, a new practice. But I would say we try to be reasonable in our way of practice, not only just about the furja and all other things, but be lenient, be flexible with people, explain to them if they inquire, or we find the chance that good to talk to them. Yes.
For that. The second question is two people want to pray congregational prayer, and like the Imam is standing in front and the person following is standing behind. So I need a clear understanding on this also.
Yes. When the Imam praying with one person, then the other person should stand on his right side. One time Ibn Abbas came and joined the Prophet ﷺ in Qiyamul Layl. So the Prophet ﷺ himself took him from his hand and he put him in the right side. So even permissible and allowed to fix the position of the person that comes and pray with you, and the Prophet ﷺ did it. So that's one thing. So he will be in your right. If it's a little bit off, or a little bit back, that's will be better. So he will give you the advancement, But even if he's staying the same level, it's fine. But يتأخر عنه قليلا, it's better. And it's still like having the attachment, foot by foot and shoulder by shoulder, even one person to you. Now, if it's more than one person, then it's better they perform their own line, and Imam will be in the front. Let's assume they are in the same line with the Imam. It's fine. Like the women, when the woman leading other women, should be with them in the same line, not in the front. The women, when leading other women, should be in the same line, not in the front. That they should be understood. Now, if even the men, they were in the same line with the Imam, it's fine. If there was the opposite, they were in front of the Imam. If they were in front of the Imam, the salah is still valid. According to Imam Malik, just makruh. It's not invalid. It's makruh. And we have one general rule: ترفع الكراهة لضرورة. The state of karaha or the rule of karaha will be left, will be removed, will be not considered in the case of necessity. If there's a necessity, sometimes there's no other place, and it happened that they prayed in front of the Imam. According to Imam Malik, it's valid. Yes, there are some opinions they are a little bit tough with that, but there's a flexibility as we can consider that the school of thought would make that permissible. So here, like in one of the mosques, like here in the city, I was told they regularly pray in the front of the Imam. Like not by mistake, that's how the setup. Because the room that behind the Imam is not that enough, so they pray in the front of the Imam. I would say if it's a regular setup, it should not be. If it's happened once in a blue moon, once in the case of necessity, it's fine. So the best practice should be, the one should be considered. Unless there is a necessity, but do not make it as a regular setup. Okay? If it is a regular setup, people are going to pray in the front, the Imam should move his position in the front. Not stay in his position and allow people every day praying in the front. Okay. Yeah. Okay, yeah, go ahead. Okay. Yes. Ask the question in the mic because those they cannot hear that watching from the Facebook. And then we'll take one more.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum. So this is for my son. He always is asking, did the dinosaurs exist? Because
what's the other comment you mentioned? Because
technically I couldn't answer him because I can't find anything in the Quran or the Sunan. Yeah.
So I will answer with the last part about the Quran. Quran is a book of guidance. It's not a book of science. So not necessarily that you will find all those facts in the Quran. What's mentioned in the Quran, it's factual, but doesn't mean the Quran includes all facts. Okay? Some scholars actually, they extracted from some ayat, according to their interpretation, that there is another living being before human being. Yes. Huh? Yeah, there are some of them, mentioned that. I think Abdul Sabur Shaheen is the first one. And even he said there's a human, like somehow, but it's not insane. It's confusing part. It's something off, for that part. So human, the first human being is Adam, and that should be clear, And now, as they study in psychology and sociology, and they study in geography, they said the human, they didn't know to speak, they didn't know how to look after animals, they didn't know. That's against the Quran. Allah said, وَعَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا. Adam knows how to speak, and he made the angels amazed about it. So this is not the point. Should not think with that way. Yeah. And the sons of Adam were mentioned. They're so in Surah Al-Ma'idah. they made qurbani. And according to one narration, one of them brought a sheep, the other one brought like, harvest from his, farm. They are civilized and they established, and there are many means. It's not like start with sign language or whispering, or they learn like hunting first and then harvesting. No, it's a clear, it's a developed and socialized human being, has a language, has a system, and has a teaching and has guidance. It's very clear. Now, is any other creation before that? That's fine. Nothing against it in the Quran. Could be. Nothing against it in the Quran. Quran, nothing. But is the ayah in the Surah Al-Baqarah refer to that? No. وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ الْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً قَالُوا وَتَجْعَلُ فِيهَا مَنْ يُفْسِدُ فِيهَا وَيَسْفِكُ الدِّمَاءَ. They said there is other creation before Adam that they have done this. They shed the blood and they make mischief in the land. No. That actually Allah is telling them about that Khalifa, about Adam and his descendants, about children of Adam. That's what's going to happen. He told them, "Inni ja'al fil ardi khalifa." I'm going to have Khalifa, and that Khalifa will 1, 2, 3. That will happen. So that's they wonder, why is that? Why are you making somebody like this? It's not they are referring to this because of their briefest experience. No. Now, is any dinosaurs or all that before this? That's the question should be answered by those in the field that they could approve that or not. They have seen some evidence of this, and they brought it up, and I think it's factual, not something I thought would be denied, but not necessarily that will be reference of that in the Quran. But that will lead us to one maybe point that's really important, because it's good to use science, to learn from it, but not to prove Quran. Quran is proof, and not because this fact, then the ayah or Quran is correct. No, do not use that link. It's dangerous this way, So it's very important, that we understand that yes, we interpret Quran with only facts, not theories, but at the same time we should not rush to make that link, because it could that what you think is fact, maybe it's not actual factual things or was proven, and then if it was disproved, many people said, "Oh, Quran is wrong," and actually there's no wrong in the Quran, but the wrong things that in the link that you made, that's in this ayah, it might be not the right, connection. Okay? Yes, last question. Yeah.
So in the sujood, if I'm not speaking Arabic, can I make dua in other language other than Arabic?
One of the unique aspects in Islam that you have the direct connection with Allah. You can speak to Him with no interpreter, with no mediator, with any language. With any language. But in the Salah, you should not use except Arabic as a first option. And if you couldn't, then in your sujood, that's the permissible time. You could use other language, but not in the standing, not in the ruku'. Because that's an open space for you in the sujood. So if you do know Arabic, so first try your best to learn the dua that's in Salah in Arabic. But if not, then the open space might be permissible in your sujood. And that's not out loud. Okay, just, do it secretly. Okay. May Allah accept it. May Allah accept all our good deeds, our salah, our qiyam, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant the best for all of us in this life and hereafter. Ameen. Subhanaka Allahumma bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.